Thank you, Whip. Last week, all Americans who watched the State of the Union saw a very triumphant President Trump who's returned to the White House with even more energy, more vigor, and more focus to work for the American people than ever before, laying out in just 6 short weeks how much he's already done to fulfill the promises of the campaign, to deliver on the mandate that 77 million Americans came to the polls and said, we want to change the way Washington works. And they sent President Trump and J.D. Vance as the vice president to go and accomplish those things. And in 6 short weeks, so many of those things have already been accomplished, or the work and the foundation has been laid to get that done. And what did we see from the Democrats? As Lisa McLean talked about, sitting down, not even celebrating a 13-year-old boy who just beat his battle with cancer and was made an honorary member of the Secret Service. One of the most touching moments I've seen in a lot of State of the Unions, and they couldn't even stand up for that. My friends, the Democrat Party of today is a leaderless, rudderless ship. They have no direction. They have no ideas. They have no concern about the successes of the American people. They can't applaud victories for the American people. They couldn't even applaud paying tribute to the widow of a woman whose husband, as a police officer, was slain in the line of duty. That's who the Democrat Party in Washington is. So many Americans who consider themselves Democrats have left that party because the Democrat Party has left them behind. A lot of those Democrats voted for Donald Trump and voted to put us in the majority, both in the House and Senate, because they're tired of the hatred and the anger that fuels today's Democrat Party. They want to see people that are going to go to work fighting for them. And that's what we're doing. Today's another example of the House doing its job. We have a responsibility to deliver for the American people, and we're going to do it with or without the Democrat Party. You know, a lot of Democrats we all get to bring a guest to the State of the Union. A lot of them brought federal workers as their guests to the State of the Union. They seem to act like they care about federal workers. You saw a lot of Democrats over the last few weeks show up at federal buildings with some federal employees who haven't been able to find their federal headquarters to go to work for the last 3 years, using COVID as an excuse, but they showed up to protest, to rally against rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse in government. But ironically, those same Democrats who claim to care about federal workers, today almost all of them will vote to furlough those federal workers that they claim to care about. How's that for showing appreciation for the people who work for this federal government? You know, and all of them have said quotes, and the speakers laid out a great video that lays out a lot of the quotes that Democrats have made over the years about shutting down government. Yet today, many of them will vote to shut down the government. And for what reason? As it's been pointed out, Hakeem Jeffries came out against the bill before the text was even filed. And still to this day, if you watched in Rules Committee last night, you heard lie after lie by Democrats who were saying things that aren't even in the bill. You know, maybe 99 pages is too long for some of them to read. We gave them the whole weekend to read the bill. They can still read it through today. The vote's going to be this afternoon. But they don't want to read the bill. They don't want to know what's really in the bill. They're just fueled by anger. Anger that Donald Trump won the election. Anger that 77 million people went to the polls and demanded a change in the way Washington works. Well, I've got a message for my Democrat friends out there. Whether you like it or not, the American people demanded change, and we're going to deliver that change for them with or without this wild, reckless, far-left, progressive Democrat Party of today. They don't represent the American people. They're fighting against the will of the American people. But we, as the Republican majority, are going to deliver for those families who are struggling, who want relief, who want help, who want to get Washington off of their back and want lower costs. We're going to do that. We passed a bill over to the Senate. We're going to urge our Senate, once we finish this bill, the Senate's got to start moving on the House budget that we sent to them weeks ago. Everybody's got a job to do around here. We're going to do ours today. And the leader who's heading that effort up is our Speaker, Mike Johnson.